everybody, I hope you're all well. I thought, I noticed that there were a few questions on comments recently and I tend to have been answering them as I reply to your messages or comments. And then I realised that you guys might be asking questions for a Q&A. If you are asking questions that are intended for a Q&A video, let me know when you're writing it and then I can make sure that I definitely respond to your question in a video. Because I noticed that I say to you guys, let me know if you have any questions, and then you ask a question and I just automatically go to answer it in the comments. My bad if you ever intended for that to be in a Q&A video, but I've only got 3 questions today because I went through the comments, and ones that I haven't already answered I thought I would just go through in a video. So this one might be quite short, but if you have any questions for future videos, let me know. It's a lovely sunny day here as well, but because as always I can't see what I'm filming, I don't know if the exposure is going to go up or down or whatever. I'm so sorry about this camera. I am trying to save up really hard for a new one, but I just thought I'd warn you before we get in that I don't know what it's going to turn out like. So the first question is from Lisa. I think there's 2 from Lisa actually, and they're both similar, but after I posted my, when was it? I think it was a weekly update perhaps. It was when I wrote about the vegan cooking course that I went on last weekend, a couple of weekends ago. And I mentioned that my mum took me, and that was actually part of my Christmas present from my mum, and it was really lovely and I really enjoyed myself. So Lisa, you want to know, is my mum a vegan? Mum isn't a vegan, she is a pescatarian, but I kind of have no doubt whatsoever that by the end of this year she will probably be a full vegetarian. She has been making some really positive changes recently. The reason she eats fish is because doctors have told her that the natural fish oils and stuff are very good for the digestive system. Basically my mum 2 years ago had an ileostomy bag fitted. She had a very serious operation. She nearly died, and if she hadn't have had this operation she would have died. She's been really poorly, but since having the operation she's been on the mend and she looks fantastic now, honestly. I'm very proud of her and I'm very proud of the life choices that she does make. And I mean, I bumped into her in Tesco's the other day and her trolley was full of greens and healthy stuff and there was no meat in sight. She's not a full vegan or a full vegetarian because here and there she'll have chocolate, she'll have cheese, she'll have eggs, but I don't think she drinks cow's milk. And to be honest, I'm the kind of vegan that is just appreciative of any small change that anybody decides to make. I don't like being in your face and I don't like being forceful. Mum's really responsive to it as well. She appreciates that I am the healthiest I've ever been, and she just tells me that all the time, which is lovely because there's just nothing worse really than family members not really understanding why you've made the decisions that you do or constantly mocking you. My stepdad's very responsive as well, but I think he still eats meat. He doesn't mock me at all and he's very lovely about it, and he will try new things, which is more than I can say for my own father. My dad's side of the family will never be vegetarians. I'll just put that out there. For example, I made my dad a birthday cake last week and they were like very suspicious of it because it was a vegan birthday cake, and I was just like, but yeah, anyway, back to the point. My mum makes very good choices and decisions. Last month, a couple of months ago, I can't actually remember, she took me to a vegan vegetarian supermarket on the outskirts of Nottingham, and that was amazing. And she's just always trying to work on herself, which I really like about my mum. She's very proactive and I don't think it will take her long to make a full change to vegetarianism and potentially even vegan. So I hope that answers your question. The next question is also from Lisa and it's talking vegan again. So if you don't like talking vegan, I'll probably put a timestamp somewhere so that you know that you can skip it. If you do want to watch this part though, that's amazing, and hats off to you for giving it the time of day, because I appreciate as well that not everyone wants to talk about vegan stuff, but if you do just want to listen and listen to some insights and the way people live, I think that's cool. So again with the cooking class, Lisa asked were the others on the course vegan, and this really confused me because it was probably a bit narrow-minded of me actually to go into the course and assume that there would be a few other vegans there. I just pictured it. I think with anything you picture in your head how it's going to go before you get to something like that, because it was interacting with other people and being an anxiety-ridden person. I just was playing over scenarios in my head, like what kind of people am I going to be interacting with, and in my head I was like preparing myself for pushy vegans or intense vegans, which is totally not my style. I was very surprised to see and find out that there was only me and one other girl out of 9 people that were actually vegan. To begin with, I was a bit disappointed because I wanted to meet other vegans in the area and I wanted to connect with them and even make some friends maybe, and just share a passion, because I think there's me and James, and obviously, as I've just said about my mum, but we don't know any other vegans. We don't know anybody. Let me know if you're vegetarian or a vegan, because then that would just completely you know, counteract what I've just said. I was a little bit disappointed, I guess, that people weren't vegan, and I was a bit confused as to why they would go on a vegan cooking course if they weren't even vegetarian. But then again, it's also a very wonderful thing that people decide to go on a plant-based cooking course and put themselves in that position to learn more, because again, some people are just so like they don't want to talk about it, they want to avoid it at all costs, they get very defensive. So I think on the other side of things, depending on how you look at it, once again it's all kind of down to perception, it kind of depends on how you look at something. And the fact that these people weren't vegetarian, they weren't vegan, but they were choosing to learn more and to develop their cooking skills in a way that doesn't involve killing, hurting or exploiting animals, I think was a really nice thing. And maybe, I don't know, I didn't keep in touch with anyone, nobody took any contact details, because I don't think we really kind of got to know each other on that sort of level, which was a bit of a shame, but you know, it was a nice experience regardless. I don't know, and I would like to think that people have gone away from that course and like I've continued to make the recipes, and I'd like to think they have too, and it might have opened their eyes a little bit more. So no, to conclude, there was only me and one other girl that were vegan on the course out of 9 people, but it didn't, like, there was no tension, there was no awful comments or hard feelings against anyone. Everyone was super lovely and understanding of one another, so I really liked it, it was nice. This next question I'm actually going to show you on the iPad, because the question is from Nikki, and she asked, I think this is what you were asking anyway, Nikki, if not I'm so sorry, but this is how I kind of took your question. I think Nikki wants to know how I do the white outline around my stickers, because I think if you don't do a white outline, the Cricut will cut right up to your drawing outline. And I thought, rather than try and respond to that in her message, because she sent me a private message asking how I do this, and I thought rather than do it in a text form, it would be cool to show you guys, and then it's just something else that we're sharing, learning, creating together. So I'm going to turn you guys around to the iPad and I will show you how I do my stickers. So I'll try and show you this as best as I can, based on the fact that this camera isn't great. So I'll do it with the cherry design that we did with the Draw With Me video the other day. Right, so here's my design, and then I make the background disappear, make another layer, and tuck that underneath. Can you see that there? Hope you guys can see it okay. Then I go to completely solid white. And then I go for the airbrushing tool, hard airbrush, and then I make a sort of, you want to make your brush nice and big I guess, make an outline like this. So depending on how thick you want the edge of your sticker to be, I'll probably go back and do this a little bit neater at another time, because I do like to spend a while making sure it's all even around the outside. But then you basically fill this in too, make sure there's no gaps, because apparently that can confuse the Cricut sometimes. If it can see gaps, it might do a bit of a gap. So you can spend hours on this if you're really anal about it, but I'm just doing it now just to demonstrate to you guys. Fill it in. I think Sarah Faber uses this method as well. There might be a different way of doing it. If you do it on Photoshop, if you make another layer and then on your artwork layer select all of the pixels and then go to select and expand, on the new layer that you will have created, you can fill that in white and it will make a white layer underneath the artwork to fit the shape that you obviously selected. So that is how I do that. Obviously it's not very neat right now, but bear with. And then I share it, and then I save my image, and I usually do a PNG. And then once you take it into the Cricut app, new project, upload. So here are my cherries. If you go to this layer here, you can see any sort of like little imperfections on the artwork. I don't know if it's going to show you guys, but these little black dots, can you see those? Kind of look like little bugs. You can just get the eraser tool and just tidy it up a little bit. Still another bit up here. There we go. And then when you go to next, you can see that it will cut around the shape that you've made, and it won't go without the white layer that you've just done on Procreate. It will cut right up to the black, which you might not want. This way of doing it is you get a nice crisp white background, and it just makes stickers look a lot nicer, I think. So if you get stickers from me in the post each month, you'll probably recognise the finished product. I did this design exactly the way that I've just shown you now. Just made a white background and did a white outline around the outside. Obviously you can make the thickness of the outline as big or as small as you want, and that is how I make my stickers. I hope that answered your question. If I totally got the wrong end of the stick and I've just gone on about something that is a little bit different to what you meant, feel free to let me know and I will try and help in any way that I can. I'm going to go back to that cherries artwork a bit later on today and tidy it up a bit, but I just thought I'd use that one as an example. So I hope that was a little bit more of an insight, and again, if you have any more questions, let me know. I'd like to do a Q&A every single month for you guys, so honestly, ask as many questions as you have or would like, and if it's more than like an average video length, I'll just make another one. The more content, the merrier. But thank you to Lisa and Nikki for asking some questions. I really enjoyed answering them. Again, if you watched through the vegan stuff and you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, thank you so much just for listening, because I value that about people. It's nice. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care, and I'll speak to you all really soon.